Hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling match review. Sorry that this is going up so late. I actually wasn't planning on uploading today. Well, I was earlier, but then I got kind of tired once I got home, so I decided, you know what, I'll take the day off. The review for the day will be a day late, and what's the worst that could happen? But as it turns out, I had some other stuff to do after I got home from work. So I ended up staying awake, and in a way, I'm kind of glad I did because now at least the review goes out on time. But nevertheless, so of course, if you remember from last year, he around WrestleMania time, around WrestleMania season, as we're continuing our look at WrestleMania matches, we reviewed the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match. In fact, we were coming up on the 20th anniversary of it, and it was definitely quite the match. The Money in the Bank, a concept that they still have going today. But they once again did it at WrestleMania a year later, and the year after that, and the year after that, excuse me, and the year after that, and the year after that. So, from WrestleMania 21 all the way through WrestleMania 26 were the Money in the Bank ladder matches at WrestleMania before it became its own pay-per-view. It's something I kind of touched upon last year, and it's crazy. The Money in the Bank pay-per-view and the Money in the Bank matches taking place there have been around longer than all of the Money in the Bank's run at WrestleMania. And do let me know in the comments. Do you guys like that Money in the Bank has its own pay-per-view / premium live event, or do you think it should go back to being on WrestleMania? Me personally, I wouldn't mind seeing it on WrestleMania again, especially since we have 2 nights of WrestleMania now. You could do the women's on one night and then the men's on the other night, or something like that. But I don't mind that it has its own pay-per-view. But nevertheless, I say all that to say it's time to look at the second ever Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 22. Now, of course, as always, I'm not a professional wrestling reviewer, or analyst, or anything of the sort. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I had a pretty good time, pretty fun time watching this match. Did I enjoy it as much as the one from the previous year? Not exactly, but it's still a pretty fun match in a lot of regards. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know this works. If you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about the match. As for how we got here, 6 guys, all looking to grab the briefcase and get a shot at the World Championship. That's about it, and that I guess that's all you really need. And this time around, unlike the previous year was all just Raw superstars because it started off as a Raw concept. But this time around, SmackDown superstars are included, and then what? And then kind of a well, first of all, spoiler alert for next year. We're going to look at obviously the one from WrestleMania 23 but that won't be until next year. But that one, it has ECW superstars involved because later on in this year, we're in 2006, later on, the ECW brand will officially be formed and subsequently bastardized, but we're not quite there yet. I kind of talked about it way back when. In a way, I reviewed the ECW Revival debut episode. If you haven't already, go check out that review. It was from a while ago, but nevertheless, so SmackDown superstars are now included as well, and the field of competitors this time around for this particular Money in the Bank ladder match are uh, are Rob Van Dam, Bobby Lashley, Finley, Matt Hardy, Ric Flair, and Shelton Benjamin. So. Oh, a couple things. For starters, Shelton Benjamin was also there the previous year. That's going to be semi-important for later. Shelton Benjamin was there the previous year. Bobby Lashley making his WrestleMania debut. And crazy that we have 2 people who would eventually team up in both the Hurt Business and the Hurt Syndicate, both in this match. Both very, very several years before the fact of the Hurt Syndicate / the Hurt Business. Finley, who's at least in terms of WWE, relative newcomer on the SmackDown brand as well. And Matt Hardy's there, the guy that Finley's been feuding with. Rob Van Dam, who out of all these people seems the most likely to win the Money in the Bank ladder match, and the one that a lot of people want to win. And spoiler alert, he's ultimately the one who does win, but we'll get to that. Now that the other five are out of the way, why on earth is Ric Flair here? Look, no offense to the Nature Boy, but why is Ric Flair in this match? It's crazy. Like Ric Flair really was doing just about anything in the Ruthless Aggression. Like Ruthless Aggression, Ric Flair was pretty wild. Well, in fact, so wild was it that Wrestling Gifts made a video about him not too long ago, and I watched it a couple weeks ago. It was actually a really good video. Definitely check out that video. I'll put a photo of it on the screen, and if I remember, I'll link it in the description. But Ric Flair being here is just, I guess you got to round out the field of competitors somehow, and it's not like Ric Flair does nothing in the match. Oh no, he definitely will, but we'll get to that. Yeah, so in terms of field competitors, compared to last year, or, I'd argue not quite. I don't want to say not quite as impressive, but it feels like there's less likely people to win Money in the Bank. Like for example, let's take last year into account. You had Shelton Benjamin, Christian, Edge, Kane, Chris Benoit, and Chris Jericho. Out of all those people, Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit, former world champions. Edge had been getting a sizable push. Kane also, former world champion, former WWE champion, that is as well. Shelton Benjamin and Christian kind of feeling out the field competitors, but a lot of people, I don't think too many people would have been upset if Christian had won it, or Shelton Benjamin for that matter. But a lot more like likely candidates to win Money in the Bank in that field of competitors versus this year, not quite as many. I Hey, do you really think there's a chance that, like, say Finley or Ric Flair uh I guess Sean Benjamin and or like Bobby Lashley, which Bobby Lashley they have been putting some stock into, but don't know if he could necessarily win it. You could make an argument for Matt Hardy, especially because this was after he had came back, like the feud that he had with Edge, and he got that big that big surge of popularity after the mix of the storyline with Edge and Lita and the real life stuff that mixed in with it. You could. I guess you could make an argument for Matt Hardy, especially with how kind of dirty they did him in that storyline, and I guess to an extent in real life. Um, otherwise, yeah, RVD seems like probably the only like really likely okay, yeah, seems like the only maybe really feasible choice to win this match. But nevertheless, those are field competitors, and I think they did a bang up job. Starting with what I liked is there was a lot of fun action and throughout. Again, not quite as much as the previous year, but I think they still did their thing. Shelton Benjamin doing kind of another crazy spot like he did the previous year. The previous year, he ran up the ladder and clotheslined, I believe that was Jericho, off the ladder the previous year. But this year, here the ladder's like laying on the ropes, and Benjamin like runs up, like walks up it, kind of almost like a seesaw in a way, and then dives off of it. It it might not be as crazy as the previous year, but it's still a pretty crazy dive. And I feel like every time Shelton Benjamin was in one of these like Money in the Bank matches, it feels like he was always doing like a breathtaking, like death-defying stunt, which I guess is one of the main reasons he was there to really like pop the crowd and everything with those types of moves. And Benjamin was damn good at it. And then speaking of Speaking of crazy moments, Ric Flair, he takes a suplex off the ladder from I believe Matt Hardy suplexes him off the ladder. I like when Matt first was climbing up, I thought he was going for a twist of fate, but he did a suplex off the ladder. Rick like lands, he like hurts his knee and everything, and then he's helped to the back. He does come back out and he starts chopping people left and right, but then eventually he climbs the ladder and takes a shillelagh to the face from Finley. And then falls backward off the ladder. So props to Ric Flair for taking two like kind of high bumps. And then on commentary, Jim Ross, JR, what have you, in particular, says something that's kind of surprised me. He said that Ric Flair here is 57 years old. The reason that's kind of surprising, it maybe it's not that surprising, but the reason it kind of resonated with me in a way is because Ric Flair here is the same age that my dad is currently. My dad's 57. Thankfully, my dad's not taking crazy bumps off ladders and stuff like that. But it's crazy what Ric Flair was getting up to, even in his older age. But so props to Ric Flair for those bumps. I think everybody for the most part or got their time to shine, kind of got their moments. There is the spot where Finley, Matt Hardy, and I believe Shelton Benjamin all like kind of like almost in a way kind of triple power bomb. I wonder if the Shield was taking notes. Kind of triple power bomb Bobby Lashley off the ladder. Matt has kind of a dive. He does like a diving leg drop. RVD with a huge splash off the ladder. Not quite the 5-star frog splash, but he does hit a big splash off the ladder. And I want to say it was Finley. It might have been Matt Hardy, but Van Dam does like a midair Van Terminator, like he jumps off, has the chair with him, and then like as he's in midair, like tucks under his legs to hit his opponent. He manages to get the one leg, but it still looked pretty impressive. And then eventually RVD climbs up, grabs the briefcase, and he like falls backwards. So RVD picks up the big win here. Mr. Monday Night becomes Mr. Money in the Bank. The fans are absolutely happy for it. Like, now I said RVD was the most likely out of all these people. And I think that's because a lot of people wanted it for him. And especially because he missed a good portion of 2005 because of his injury. Like he missed WrestleMania. They mentioned on commentary he missed WrestleMania last year. He missed One Night Stand last year. So to see him getting this big a push in this way was pretty cool. Fun little side note. Oh, this attire that RVD is wearing here, the red like singlet with the dragon on it. For first of all, I'm pretty sure they used this exact like that exact image of him like capturing the Money in the Bank briefcase. It might be a different one. I'm pretty sure they used that for the poster for ECW One Night Stand 2006. But also another neat little detail. That's the attire he had for SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 that year, where he had the really awesome, like custom theme music, like, exclusive to the game, Fury of the Storm. That song is a banger. The fact that he never actually came out to it while he was in WWE is criminal. I believe that song was also on the Reckless Intent album. I could be wrong, but the fact that he didn't have that theme song on like actual programming, that's a huge missed opportunity. But nevertheless, RVD wins really big here, and excuse me, what a way the rest of 2006 would pan out for him. He'd get his own custom briefcase. He'd announce the cash in beforehand. He'd cash in on John Cena, officially win the WWE Championship, and to an extent the ECW Championship at One Night Stand 2006. He got in some trouble later and ended up having to drop both titles, but still, RVD would go on to have a hell of a 2006. In terms of what I didn't quite like as much about the match, for stars, I wished it was a little bit longer. They only got about 12 minutes for this match. I wish it would have gone on a little longer. And that's not even just because I love ladder matches, as I'm sure many of you know by now, but I do wish we got a little more time for them. But the other thing is, there were a few nasty spills, and that's kind of the nature of the beast when it comes to ladder matches. But especially like the closing moments where, right before RVD grabs the briefcase, where he knocks off like Matt Hardy and Shelton Benjamin, and they take kind of an ugly tumble to the outside. It looked kind of scary. But other than that, like I said, didn't like it as much as the one at WrestleMania 21, but still a really awesome Money in the Bank ladder match. So I would recommend checking it out. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Turn on those post notifications so you know every single time I upload a video so you never miss an upload. And let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on this match, my review of the match. Do you like the match? Do you like my review of the match? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.